Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that explores the deepest, most complicated corners of the human heart. It's a story about love, loss, and the lines we cross when we feel completely alone. Meet Noah and Emma. For them, home wasn't a sanctuary. It was a war zone, with a father who was never there and a mother lost in her own world. They had only each other. Noah was Emma's shield, protecting her from the harsh realities of their life. And Emma was Noah's quiet confidant, the only person who could see the pain he never spoke of. Their bond was forged in the fire of shared survival. As they grew into teenagers, something began to shift. The way they looked at each other started to linger. A simple hug meant to comfort suddenly felt charged with something more. In their small, isolated world, they found solace not just in words, but in a silent, tense understanding that thrummed between them. They both knew it was a line they shouldn't cross, but feeling so alone, it started to feel inevitable. One night, after a particularly vicious fight with their mother, they found themselves seeking refuge in the same room, shattered and desperate for comfort. And that night, the line was crossed. It was a dizzying, confusing mix of guilt, passion, and a desperate craving for a love they felt only the other could possibly understand. In the darkness, they made a silent pact. It was them against the world, now and forever. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Just a few months later, their mother, chasing a phantom fresh start, announced they were moving to France. The separation was as swift as it was brutal. Noah, left behind, felt trapped and utterly heartbroken. He poured all his anguish into his work, burying his pain under layers of concrete and steel, eventually becoming a successful contractor. Emma, on the other hand, was ripped from the only anchor she'd ever known. Shattered and adrift in a new country, she was forced to build a new life. But the ghost of Noah was everywhere, haunting her every waking moment, a constant ache in her soul. Years passed. In an attempt to fill the gaping void Noah had left, Emma married Mark. Mark was a good man, a truly good man. He was a teacher, stable, kind, and completely, deeply in love with her. He offered her a life of peace and normalcy she'd never had. And Emma she honestly, truly tried to love him back the way he deserved. She learned his favorite meals, kept their home immaculate, and always had a smile ready for him when he walked through the door. But her eyes told a different story. They were the windows to a soul that was still tethered to someone else, miles and an ocean away. They remained dull, holding a deep, unshakable sadness that Mark, for all his love and patience, could never quite touch or heal. He saw the melancholy she tried so desperately to hide, but he never understood its source. He just knew a part of his wife was somewhere he could never reach. Then, a decade after they were torn apart, a phone call changed everything. Their mother had passed away. Emma had to return to the United States for the funeral, back to the house where it all began. And Noah was there. The moment their eyes met across the old, familiar living room, time simply stopped. 10 years of separation, of unspoken words and separate lives, all melted away in a single, supercharged glance. It was as if no time had passed at all. The air crackled with everything they had lost, everything they still felt. The funeral was a blur of stifled emotions and stolen moments. They moved around each other like magnets, sharing quiet, loaded glances over the heads of distant relatives. The old house, once their prison, now felt like the only place on earth where they could breathe, where they could be understood without saying a word. One evening, Mark, who had been helping with the arrangements, came home earlier than expected. The house was unnervingly quiet. He walked up the stairs, a sense of unease settling in his stomach. As he approached Emma's old childhood bedroom, he noticed the door was slightly ajar. He peered inside, and what he saw shattered his world into a million pieces. But it wasn't what he might have expected. Noah and Emma weren't locked in a passionate embrace. It was something far more profound, far more devastating. Emma had her head resting on Noah's shoulder, her entire body shaking with silent, racking sobs. Noah's eyes were clenched shut, his face a mask of pure agony and love as one hand gently, protectively stroked her hair. It was a scene of raw, unfiltered grief, and a connection so deep, so absolute, it was almost a physical presence in the room. The air left Mark's lungs. He felt his heart crack. But instead of bursting in, instead of unleashing the tidal wave of anger and betrayal he was entitled to feel, he did something else. Slowly, quietly, he pulled the door closed, the soft click echoing the sound of his heart breaking. He leaned his forehead against the wooden frame, swallowing the immense pain that threatened to choke him. Later that night, Emma found him. Her eyes were red-rimmed and filled with a guilt so heavy it was hard for her to stand. She started to speak, to explain, to apologize. "Mark, He held up a hand, stopping her. His voice was quiet, but firm, devoid of anger. "I saw you too, today, in the bedroom." Emma froze, her face draining of all color. Panic flared in her eyes. But Mark's gaze held no accusation, only a heartbreaking, soul-crushing understanding. "I've always known, Emma," he said softly. "I've always known there was a part of you I could never reach, a part that belonged to someone else. I didn't know who. I see now. It was always him." He took a deep, shaky breath, the weight of his decision settling on his shoulders. If being with him is what truly makes you feel alive, if he's the one who can finally make you happy, then I won't stand in your way. His love for her was so total, so selfless, that her happiness mattered more to him than his own heartbreak. He was willing to accept the most devastating truth to set her free. And with those words, he left Emma and Noah standing on the edge of a precipice, with a choice that would define not just their future, but all of their lives, forever. What an incredibly powerful and heart-wrenching story. It really makes you think about the different forms love can take. Thank you so much for watching with me today. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into complex narratives. I'll see you in the next one.